Portland pizza is strangely controversial, not because of how it tastes, but because of how highly rated it has become. You might remember that Ken's Artisan Pizza was crowned the second best shop in the world earlier this year, but by a very random travel blog, so there were skeptics, like me. But now things are getting real here because a few weeks ago, a legitimate organization, the Top 50 Pizza List, included not just Ken's as the third best in the country, but it also included a Pizza Shoals and Nostrana in its rankings. And get this, the top 15 are automatically eligible for the 100 best pizzerias in the world list, which will be announced in Naples this September. So Portland might have a shot in actually becoming the home of a world-class pizza shop. In celebration of that news, today on CityCast Portland, we're going back to a conversation I had with local pizza expert Blaine Bartholomew. He's been making pies and documenting the Portland pizza scene since 2014. I had to ask, is Portland pizza really that good? It's Monday, July 10th. I'm Claudia Meza, and this is what Portland's talking about. Thanks for being on the show today. I really wanted to talk about all of the hype that Portland has been getting with their pizza, specifically 3 weeks ago when we were deemed, well, one of our pizzerias was deemed the second best in the world. And so I wanted to talk to you, Blaine. Do you think Ken's Pizzeria is the second best pizza in the world?
Oh, yeah. Possibly. I think my take on Portland is it's pound for pound as good as pizza as you're going to get anywhere in the world, quite frankly. And you've seen some of the publications over the years that would back that up. I think for me, Ken's is great, phenomenal, and one of the kind of old guard Portland pizzerias. When I look at Portland pizza as a whole, I think there's just a lot of things that make Portland really, really unique and really special when it comes to pizza. And we have such a food culture here of, artisan approach, local ingredients. And traditionally, you don't really think about that with pizza. Our pizzeria owners, some of them are just so creative, so outside the box. They put so much care into what they're making. I do think we have, the best pizza scene in the nation.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You're saying it.
I'm saying it.
But you're like, but I haven't been to the nation. Is that what you were going to say next?
Yeah, I haven't been to every pizza city in the nation. So qualifier there.
That's not just a qualifier. That's a dequalifier.
Yeah.
I just want you to know.
Fair enough.
I think it was like 2017. Portland Monthly was like making the case that we were the new American pizza city. And then in 2021, I feel like the national media kind of picked up on it. They're just like, you know what, you guys are. But the thing is that I feel like in Portland, we have a special humility about us being the best at anything. So most of the trash talk was from us. I remember all the threads, we're not, what? Come on, Were you part of that conversation at all? Do you remember that when we were?
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, there were definitely some articles that came out this couldn't possibly be true. I mean, there's New York, Chicago, New Haven. You could even throw Detroit in the mix. And I never bought into that. I know a lot of these pizzeria owners. I know the craft. I know how great the pizza is here. So to me, it's totally believable. And just to put some weight behind it, this really kind of all started with Anthony Falco, who's a international pizza consultant. And so he was out here for Feast Portland. And, he said, this is the greatest pizza city in the nation. He's from Brooklyn. He worked at Roberta's, et cetera, et cetera. But he's traveled the world. And he says Portland is, the best pizza city in the nation. And I think for similar reasons, that we don't have the history. We're not constrained to a style.
It's true. If you were to go somewhere and you'd be like, okay, what's Portland pizza like? They couldn't tell you. Well, for one, a lot of people would be like, which Portland and what pizza? But I don't think we have a style, and maybe that's what our style is.
I totally agree. If I were to pick my top 10 favorite places in Portland, no two are the same. Even some of the places like Scotty's that I love, he grew up on the East Coast and he just wanted to do East Coast pizza, but he's doing it so differently. Sourdough pizza, just very different than the couple times I've been to New York and had New York style pizza.
You said your top 10, and now I'm curious. Now I have to know, what is your top 10, Blaine?
Yeah, I don't know why I said that.
Did you write it down?
I have a fluid top 10. It's always kind of moving based on cravings. But, I'd say if I'm craving a vegetarian pizza, there's sort of a top four for that craving, and it's Lovely's 50/50, Gracie's, Dove Vivi, and Please Louise. I just think that the vegetable and cheese combinations at all those places are always great. And I just think the flavors pop, all super local, farm to table type ingredients. Lovely's 50/50, what Sarah Minnick does with, creating menus based on what's in season that week at the
Hmm.
farmer's market. I mean, it's just insane the care that goes into that. Dove Vivi, just to call them out, their crust is super unique. It's a cornmeal crust. It's like nothing most people have ever tried. To round out other parts of the top 10, if I'm wanting a great, sourdough pizza, Scotty's. Scotty's is it, and they've got that Tofino, that grandma pizza that I absolutely love. If I want more of a East Coast style, Pizza Shoals, and I just think you just can't go wrong there. If I'm feeling a bit gluttonous in terms of like I want heavy toppings and I want a lot of cheese and all of that, pan pizzas, I'd go with ranch. I'd go with Pizza Jerk and their cast iron. So if I'm feeling vegan for whatever reason and I'm not vegan, I would go to Boxcar. Boxcar does Detroit style pizza. It is vegan, and it's Odie there is a bit of a magician that he makes non-cheeses taste like cheese. But then you have a lot of newcomers, right? There's a huge surplus of new pizzerias like Cafe Ollie.
Yeah, I was about to ask you. They got onto almost like everyone's top 10 list
Yeah.
or top 5 list for being the best new restaurant. But what do you think that they're doing that other people aren't doing?
They have sourdough pizza that's wood fired, so that in itself's not unique in Portland by any means. But I detected like pretty heavy wheat flour, which I loved. So you get like these flavor dimensions to their crust that I thought were phenomenal. I really like their sauce. I've only been there once. We had a couple pies as my wife and I and my son, and their marinara with burrata on it was just it was one that like I still remember, the flavors as I'm talking about it.
Whenever I would go to a new pizza place, I would always just get the margarita because I'm like, okay, if you can do this for me, then I will try other things.
Yeah,
Because it's so simple. That's why, like, if you can't nail this, then I know that I'm not going to like your pizza, you
absolutely.
know?
Absolutely. It's a great baseline pie to compare against too.
So you gave some, some pretty big hitters. And I'm going to ask you, like, I really want to know what I should be ordering at a Pizza Shoals because I feel like last time I was there, it was a little limp, and that's why I didn't like it. It wasn't as
Did
because I like
you
a crunchy
Yeah,
crust.
was it takeout or
No, and it was there, but
okay.
maybe my friends just ordered too many wet things, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you must yeah, that's surprising because yeah, it's definitely like it can hold the toppings. I love the Polly G over there.
Mhm.
And that's an ode to a famous New York pizzeria. But it's got like the Mike's Hot Honey and things of that nature on it. Basil, which I always love. It's got a little spice to it. I love that. I love the Tartufo and the Tartufo too. It's a white pie, truffle
I
oil.
don't like a white pie.
Yeah. Oh,
I know. I have the like pizza tastes of like a child.
yeah.
I try different things, you know? All right, let's take a little break here. When we come back, let's talk about what could make Portland pizza even better. So, what do you think Portland needs to do better, though? Like, is there anything in the scene that you're just like, I wish Portland's pizza or somebody did this?
I would say maybe we just got to be careful that it doesn't get watered down here
Hmm.
because obviously the national articles around Portland being the best in the nation, that can change things. It can be a money grab for pizzerias opening up just to make money,
Gotcha.
which at the end of the day, these are businesses. They're there to make money, but there's so much of a soul to the Portland pizzerias that I've talked about that hopefully we don't lose. It doesn't become like, oh, there's six of this franchise in town that used to be so great,
Hmm.
that kind of thing. So I would say that's something to be careful of as a pizza community. But
Are you familiar with St. John's?
yeah, a little bit.
Have you noticed that there's like a pizza place here, like every 5 feet? I think we have the most pizza places per capita in all of Portland.
Really?
And I don't understand why. And I was hoping that an expert would come and explain that to me.
I have theories. So I maybe should have mentioned this on the front end, but I don't own a pizzeria. I'm a consumer of pizza. So this would be a theory of mine in terms of why there's so much pizza in St. John's. But I would say like pizza was one of those foods that was pretty pandemic proof.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of pizzerias thrived during the pandemic because they could move with the floor and really pivot to the takeout model, which is really good for pizzerias. And then I think, again, combined with the national notoriety that we're getting, I think that, all boats kind of rise when the sea level moves up. And I think that's what's happening. I don't know of any necessarily that are novices that are like, I want to open a pizzeria and I don't know anything about, what I'm doing. But I bet you there's a fair amount of that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. Like, there's a reason I would not open a pizzeria. I've seen how hard these folks work and like how hard it is. Your heart has to be 100% in this. And I have so much respect for the people that have been doing it for a long time.
Hey, I have a question for you, real quick. Are you at all familiar with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Oh, it's funny that you bring that up. My 5-year-old son, Nico, is locked into Ninja Turtles right now.
Okay. So you named a lot of pizzas in town.
Yeah.
And everyone's personality. You got the grumpy one, the mean one. You have the introspective leader. You have the one, Donatello, where you're just like, I don't know what your deal is. I guess you just have a bow. And then you have the party animal, Michelangelo. So what is their favorite pizza joint in Portland?
Oh, that's a perfect question. I love the question so much. So like Raphael is kind of the grumpy one. So
He's spicy.
Spicy. Yeah, I would say he's like the toughest, so he would probably, what would he want? I think pizza jerk.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
Perfect. Pizza jerk, Raphael.
Kind of a dad joke in there as well with that answer, so that was good.
What about Leonardo, the introspective leader?
Oh, he's a thinker.
Yeah.
He'd have his spreadsheet out and rating every little detail.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to Lovely's 50/50 to try to figure out what the secret sauce is and what all the hype is. Yeah.
I see him as a Gracie's too. Like Leonardo would totally be at Gracie's.
Yeah, I could see that.
Okay, now this is I think the difficult one because like who is Donatello really,
He'd go to a Pizza Shoals. He'd go to a Pizza Shoals.
Thank you. That's what exactly.
I think, it's the first place that someone would tell him to go. If you want, the best pizza in Portland, it's kind of the first thing that comes off the tongue. So he'd probably go there.
Okay. Michelangelo.
I think he would go to Ranch because it's Ranch is like your post party. Michelangelo seems like life of the party.
It would just soak it all up.
Yeah, it would soak it all up. Maybe, I don't know if Michelangelo drinks, but it's a great next day after a few drinks kind of pizza.
Yeah, I'm thinking Escape from New York pizza.
Yeah.
Or if he's in St. John's, he just go to Signal Station.
That's I see the angle there. He would definitely seek out that New York pizza. You're right.
To be honest, Ranch was a twist. I was like, oh, just imagine Michelangelo with a rectangle pizza.
Yeah.
Doesn't it break your brain a little?
It does.
All right. I'm not saying it wasn't a good idea because I think it's like solid.
There's no wrong answer, right?
A hungover Michelangelo at Ranch's, 100%. 100, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Do you have any ideas for anything we should be looking into or talking about? Send us an email at portland@citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's.